Hi, friends. This is Mrs. Lynn. Welcome to another virtual story time with me and my reading buddy, Brown Sugar. Now, remember, if you have a reading buddy that you would like to share this story with, you can hit pause on the video and go grab him or her. Now, today is a really special day. It's April 22nd. And every year on April 22nd, the people around the world come together to celebrate Earth Day. And on this day, we learn all about the planet Earth and all the different ways that we can help take care of it. So I thought for today, we can read a story called Take Care of the Earth Every Day. It's a nonfiction book. So you can see on the inside cover that there's a table of contents. That's just one of the many differences between a fiction and a nonfiction book. And I know we've talked about that a little bit in library, but I thought we would take a few minutes to look over an anchor chart that tell us about these differences. If you feel like you know those differences already and that you don't need the review, you can go ahead and skip to the story part of this video. But otherwise, come join me on the other slide. All right, so this is the chart I was talking about that tell us the differences between fiction and nonfiction books. Now, fiction books are the ones that we've been reading in story time. They're books like Dr. Seuss and maybe Berenstain Bear books that you've checked out from the library, books about unicorns or books on Little Red Riding Hood and all sorts of like fairy tales. Harry Potter is a fictional book. The purpose of these fictional stories, the main purpose is to entertain us. They're books for us to read to enjoy. Um, the special thing about fictional books is that you have to read them in order. There is a beginning of the story, a middle, and an end. And it wouldn't make much sense for you to start a fictional story from the middle of the story, right? Or even from the end of the story. So you have to, with those stories, start from the beginning and read all the way to the end. You can't skip pages, or else the story probably won't make sense. Um, when we look at a fictional story, we are usually talking about different story elements, such as character. Now, these characters in the story could be people like us, boys and girls who are going through a problem in the book, just like you and I would encounter a problem in real life. But these characters could also be pretend characters like talking animals. Now, we know that animals don't talk in real life, but in a fictional story, you will find lots of these talking animals. And that's usually a good clue that the story is a fiction. We also, a lot of times, talk about setting in a fictional story. And setting is basically just the time and the place where the story is taking place. Now, again, some of these settings could be real. A story that might be set in the town that you live in, or a city like New York or Chicago. Um, the setting could be real, but a lot of times these settings might not be real, might be pretend. A lot of times, if you're reading a fairy tale, those settings in those stories don't actually exist, right? So that's another clue that a story might be fiction. There's events that happen in a fictional story that are pretend, even though they might be based on events that happened in real life. Events in a fictional story are usually pretend. There's usually a plot or a problem in the story that the character have to find the solution to. Okay, so those are all kind of characteristics of a fictional story. A nonfiction book, like the one that we're going to read today, are usually read for information. Um, which is not to say that you can't read something that's a nonfiction and not enjoy it. You can definitely enjoy reading a nonfiction book. But the main purpose of a nonfiction book is for the reader to learn something about the topic. You can read a nonfiction book in any order, and I'll kind of show you that really quickly later when we get into our book. You don't have to read it from beginning to end because that's not how nonfiction books are set up. And then there are a lot of different text features in a nonfiction book that help us understand what we're reading. So there are things like table of contents, which tell us about the different topics that might be covered in the book, and I'll show you that in a minute. There might be an index, which is usually on in the back of the book, that tells you where certain keywords can be found in the story or in the book. Um, there might be a glossary, which is kind of like a mini dictionary in the back of the book as well. And then inside the pages of that book, you might find words that are bolded or italicized or highlighted. Those are keywords that the author wants you to pay special attention to. That there might be photographs instead of drawings or illustrations um, that show you an animal in its habitat, or um, maybe there might be a photograph of a person doing the sport that you're reading about. And then a lot of times those photographs will come with captions, which are words that give you more information about the photograph. And then you might also find diagrams and labels. They usually go together. It could be a picture of a bee, and then the labels would show you the parts of the bee that you could learn about. And a lot of times there might be maps or charts and graphs that give you more information about whatever topic it is that you're reading about. So those are some of the things that we can look for when we go back into our nonfiction book for the day. And let's see if you can find some of those features. So let's go back to the book. Now, right off the bat, I see right here, there's a table of contents. That's one of the key features of a nonfiction book. And again, the table of contents is a list of topics or chapters that are in the book. Usually it has the chapter title or the topic followed by a page number. So it tells me what page I can find that topic on. And this is why I say you can actually skip around in a nonfiction book. So let's say I open this book about how to take care of the earth, but I really just want to focus on how to take care of animals. So I can look at my topic list, and I can go to this section right here that says care for animals and plants. And I can see that that's on page 15. Okay, so I don't have to read anything else. I can just skip right to that page. Okay, so, and I can also see on my table of contents that at the back of the book, there is a glossary. It's called the Words to Know page right here. And then there's also an index. So let's get into the book. And then when we get to that section, I'll point those features out. All right, let's go to the next page. Earth is our home. The earth belongs to us all. It is where we live, play, and learn. It is our home, and we need to take good care of the earth. Air pollution. Some things pollute the earth. Most cars run on gas, but using gas pollutes the air. Hybrid cars can run on electricity and gas. This is better for the earth. In this Let's Do It section, it says, let's do it. Walk or ride your bike. This is not bad for the air at all. All right, so let's take a pause on this page and see what kind of features that we looked at are on this page. So I already noticed that there's a nice photograph of a hybrid car, right? So photographs are usually in nonfiction books that give us more visual information on the topic we're learning about. And then on this little page, I see that there are two words that are darker than the rest of the words. The word pollute and the word hybrid cars. And those are the bolded words on the page that signals to us that the author wants us to know more about these words. A lot of times, those are also the words that you're going to find in the glossary in the back of the book. What I love about Epic is that if you don't know what the words pollute or hybrid cars mean, you can actually click on it and Epic will give you the definition. All right, let's go to the next page and see what we're going to learn on the next page. Recycle. You can recycle to help care for the earth. This uses old items to make new ones. Bottles and jars can be made into new things. It makes less trash, and less trash means less pollution. Boys and girls, did you notice another bolded word on that page? That's a key word. Keep Earth clean. Trash can pollute our water. Then it is not safe to drink. We can help clean up litter. This will keep our water clean. And let's read the Let's Do It section. Always put your trash in a bin. Pick up trash that you see. Don't waste food. Food comes from the earth. We must not waste it. Wasted food becomes trash. Always eat what is on your plate. Only take what you need. Care for animals and plants. Animals and plants live on our earth too. Care for all living things. It is part of taking care of the earth. Let's do it. Many animals make their homes in trees, but trees are often cut down. Can you try to make a birdhouse? This gives birds a safe place to live. Ooh, boys and girls, that might be a fun challenge to do during remote learning. So maybe you can ask your parents to help you design and build a birdhouse for the birds that are coming out now that it's warmer outside. Work together. Some animals are endangered. They might need our help. Join a club that help animals. Help save their habitat or home. Did you guys notice that there are two keywords on this page? Plant a tree. Plant a tree to help the earth. Plants and trees can be a home for many animals. They also help keep the air clean. Here's how it works. Plants use up a gas called carbon dioxide. Then they put oxygen back in the air. We need this to breathe, and so do animals. And then here is another text feature that we talked about earlier, a diagram that shows you how a plant makes oxygen. Did you guys notice that other than the diagram, there's also labels and little arrows pointing to the different parts? Okay, so basically, this is a diagram that shows us how a plant makes oxygen, and you'll often find diagrams like this in a nonfiction book. Earth Day. Earth Day is April 22nd every year. Join in, get a group together, pick up litter, plant trees, have fun taking care of the earth together. There is only one earth. We can all help keep it clean. How do you take care of the earth? All right, and that was the end of the book, except at the very end of this book, because it's a nonfiction book, you'll find some more information that you might be interested in. For example, if you want to get started today on helping to make the earth a better place, these are some suggestions that we talked about in the book. Walk or ride your bike instead of riding in the car everywhere we go, recycle items that you use, and so on. These are ideas that we read about in the book itself. Here's the glossary that gives us definitions for words that we saw. Oops. In the book. So in the words to know section, this is where all those bolded words are here, along with the definitions. Now, notice if you're older that these words are in alphabetical order, just like you would find in a dictionary. Let's go to the next page so I can show you the index. All right. Oh, before the index, on top of the index, you will actually see the Learn More section. And Learn More sections are not necessarily in every nonfiction book, but this one has it. And it basically gives you more ideas of what books to read if you want to learn more about Earth Day. And some websites are even listed here for you to maybe click on if you want more information on how to take care of the earth. Now, here's the index. Okay, and these are words that are important to this book, along with the page numbers where you can find that word in. So let's say you want to learn more about oxygen. So you would scan the list, and again, it's in alphabetical order until you come to the word oxygen. And right behind oxygen are two page numbers, 18 and 19. And that means you can find that word on those two pages. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully this has been a really good review for you about nonfiction books and the different features that we see in a nonfiction book. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy Earth Day today with your families. Hopefully, you guys can come up with some ways you can make the Earth better today. Even though we can't get together with other friends. During this shutdown, hopefully you and your family can come up with small things that you can do on a daily basis to help the earth. I hope you enjoyed the story, and I hope you'll join us again next week when we have another virtual story time. Bye.